So you've opened your Shopify store and you are looking for some powerful strategies to market and sell your product. And you are thinking, how about Pinterest marketing? So guys, in this video, we will go through some powerful strategies on how to market and sell your products on Pinterest with ease. And we will unpack this with the one and only Heather Ferris, who is an absolute pro when it comes to Pinterest. And she's also an incredible YouTuber and a business owner who has worked with hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs on Pinterest, helping them crush it. So guys, with that said, let's get right into it. So Heather, tell us a little bit about you. Like, how did you actually get started with Pinterest? How did it all come together?
Silvia, first of all, thank you and Kristen so much for allowing me to come and talk to your Shopify crowd about Pinterest marketing and Pinterest for e-commerce. I got started by using Pinterest every single day in my personal life. And when I was sick of my accounting job, making 12 USD per hour, I went to Pinterest and I searched for how to work at home. And this entire side of Pinterest came up that I never knew existed. And this was back in 2016, pre-TikTok. We all joke now about the different sides of TikTok, but the same thing has been happening and happens all the time on Pinterest. So if you've never interacted with certain things on the platform before, you likely won't get served those things on the platform. My whole world was shaken in that moment. And I spent months, probably close to a year, actually researching different opportunities and different things, reading ebooks, taking courses, until I eventually learned and landed on starting a blog, which led me down the path of working now with e-commerce brands since 2019.
Amazing. I love it. And Pinterest is such an incredible platform. And I guess a lot of entrepreneurs are always like wondering, like, how is Pinterest different? You know, like there's Instagram and there's Facebook and there is TikTok and there is Snapchat and, you know, overwhelm of social media. So, but then there is Pinterest and people kind of feel like, hey, there is something different about this, but they just don't know what it is. So from your point of view, what would you say is so different about the platform?
Well, one of the big differences with Pinterest is the ability to drive traffic to your website. So people on Pinterest are looking for things and they find your pins and then they click on them and go to your store. This is not like any other platform in that way. Pinterest really does want to serve your content to the right audience at the right time. And they also really want to take people offline, which is one of the things that really makes Pinterest so different than other platforms like TikTok and Instagram, for example.
And I love that because there is like already two things that you mentioned in there. First of all, that it's a search platform. So rather than all of the other social media networks where your content is very short-lived, on Pinterest, it's like there to stay and longer and longer and longer, which is amazing. And then obviously driving that traffic straight to your website, somebody who is like hot, looking for this couch that you're selling in beige color, and boom, like straight away you get that hot person coming to your store. So I love that. So let's say I'm just opening my store and I've just opened up, I've got this beautiful product and I've got a store, let's say selling jewelry, and I want to start a Pinterest account. Like, where do I even start? Like, what would you say I do first?
The first thing you need to do when you start on Pinterest is really beginning with understanding who your audience is. And if you have a Shopify store, chances are you've done some of this homework already. So I have a bit of a method. It's included in the worksheet that you're putting in the description down below. In the free strategy guide is a worksheet, a complimentary worksheet where you can do some of this homework. But basically, what I want you to do is take a notebook or a piece of paper or the worksheet, and I want you to write down a few things. Number one being the most popular products in your store. Number two is I want you to write down the most commonly asked questions about your products. The third thing I want you to write down is the content that you've created on your website or even on your social media channels, the free content that you're creating to attract users or customers in this case. And then the fourth thing that I want you to write down is the product collections in your store. And I want you to start to ideate keywords around each of those four things. So think about it from the standpoint of Google. If someone were to go to Google right now and search for how to start a Shopify store, what is it that they're going to type in? So I want you to think about it from that same perspective from your products. So if you are selling iPad planners or even physical planners because you're a physical product seller, then I want you to write down all of those things. So let's say it's a physical planner. There's grid style paper, there's cardstock. What are the things that give context around those products and the things in the products, and write those things down. Then you're going to go to the search bar on Pinterest and you're just going to start searching keywords that are directly tied to your products that are going to bring people awareness. From there, you're really going to start creating your Pinterest board strategy. So you have this entire keyword plan, and that's going to funnel into that board strategy. So really all of your keywords up to this point, your entire strategy on Pinterest is centered around your keyword plan. So you're going to create your boards from all of your collections, whatever it is that you sell in your business are going to turn into boards on your Pinterest profile. And you may even have some more generic boards like resort wear or summer vacation outfits or something like that. Those boards are really great to get people on Pinterest that are searching for your product being able to find you. They may not even know that they want a summer dress. They may just think they want resort wear. So you're going to have a mix of both highly specific boards and more generic boards.
Amazing. So what you're kind of describing here is when somebody opens a store and let's say I have a fashion store and they've got all of these beautiful dresses, but when somebody is looking for like a yellow summer dress, that's like a quite specific search, right? Or shorts or long summer dress with short sleeves, right? But a resort wear is what we call a little bit like a cooler search, right? So they're probably at that point where they're just looking for ideas. So I love that because what you just described is essentially we're catering to both audiences. Am I understanding this correctly? So we're catering to somebody who is still looking for ideas and then somebody who is like, no, I'm looking for this specific product and I'm ready to buy.
You can definitely do full funnel marketing on Pinterest. So yes, the awareness and consideration all the way down to the product that you're selling on this platform. A lot of Shopify store owners actually don't create blog posts in the beginning of their customer journeys. And that's something that I actually encourage a lot of Shopify and e-commerce store owners to do, because if you are newer, it's a lot less likely that you're going to be able to rank on Google for those really hard to rank keyword terms. Everything on Google these days is commercial, at least it seems like it. So if you can start with blog posts and actually rank on Pinterest that way, then you can bring more awareness and outrank some of the bigger companies who have money to spend on ads. And by simply just creating blog posts and sharing Pinterest pins with the products in the blogs, and then also linking to your collection pages, your product listing pages, and the blog posts on your website.
That's great. So if I were to start with this one blog, then I'm just trying to understand, then I would start with the blog, I would create a pin for the blog and then a pin for each of the products that I'm selling and link those to my product pages or link those to the blog as well?
Both product pages and the blog, yes, and those collection pages. So you can actually do that on Pinterest where you can link it to multiple different things. The same image can go to multiple different places. And I actually tell people on my YouTube channel and in my programming, if you have a public page on your website, as long as it's not a legal page and you want to get eyeballs on it, you should make pins for it.
Wow, amazing. That's really, really great. And then typically for Pinterest, like how long does it take for somebody to start seeing some results? The reason why I'm asking is because what I find in entrepreneurship and specifically when it comes to Shopify is that people kind of stop digging just before they dig up the golden nugget. And so sometimes it's like, oh, this didn't work, so I stopped that. Next thing, oh, this didn't work, so I stopped that. But often there is like a little bit of a lag, right? So how would I know that Pinterest is working and what are some of the like metrics to look out for?
Now, something that you do need to know, because Pinterest is an e-commerce platform now. Our CEO right now is the former chief executive of e-commerce over at Google. So he's really bringing e-commerce to the forefront on Pinterest. It is the future of the platform. So you really do need to have, you really do need to take that opportunity to show up and get found. Now, 96% of searches on Pinterest are actually completely unbranded. That means that people are not going to Pinterest and searching for things like Nike sneakers. They're actually going to Pinterest and searching for things like resort wear or sustainable resort wear. They're not looking for Zara, they're looking for resort wear. So I always tell people, I want you to give it a solid 3 months of consistently pinning before you do anything major in your strategy. So you're always going to start with your keyword plan first. You're going to hammer those keywords home. You're going to use that first set of keywords that you find consistently for all of your pins as long as it's appropriate. And I always tell people with branded keywords, with awareness keywords and product keywords, if there's a set of keywords that fall across everything you do in your brand, you're going to use that keyword list consistently with every pin. This is something that a lot of other Pinterest experts won't tell you either. And I don't even know that they necessarily know that it's happening, to be quite honest, but I'm willing to tell you what's happening. So I want you to look at your Google Analytics and your Shopify Analytics for actual store traffic. There are other metrics that Pinterest, you can rely on for Pinterest, like impressions and saves and engagements. But beyond that, I really want you to be thinking about how you can park your content on Pinterest for the long term. This is not a platform where you have to show up and sing and dance in order to get views like you do on Instagram or TikTok. So just be thinking about how you can be pinning on Pinterest in the background with your PJs on, how you can make pins or repurpose content from social media to Pinterest, and really connect with your audience in the background of your business just on autopilot.
Is it mainly that, let's say we take the content that we've got on Instagram, but we think about it as to what is shown inside the content and what would the customer be searching for? Is that...
So the way that I want you to think about it is if you're doing any sort of repurposing from other social media channels, I want you to consider how that content really makes or breaks it on Pinterest. How are people going to perceive this on Pinterest? You can go to Pinterest and see what your competitors are doing and create and mimic what they're doing. But something else entirely is really knowing what's going to land on Pinterest. And if you're going to repurpose from your Instagram or your TikTok account, you need to do that with purpose. So how I want you to think about this or reframe it in your mind is Instagram and TikTok are really meant to entertain your audience, whereas Pinterest is a place that people are going to do, buy, and try. They want to know how to make the smoothie. They don't want to watch the smoothie being made and be entertained. So if you're thinking about what content's actually going to get repurposed over, be thinking about it from that search perspective of, oh, I am going to show someone how to make this smoothie and tell them what ingredients are inside of it and then send them to my blog post for the recipe versus I'm just going to make the smoothie and dance to a new trend on social media.
Yes, that totally makes sense. And I love how you said that saves beat some of the other some of the other metrics. And that is probably because it means that people find it relevant, right? To the search term where it showed up. Am I thinking about this correctly?
So Pinterest users are planners. The average buying cycle on Pinterest is about 18 days. So people are on there, not like Facebook or Meta where they buy instantly. People on Pinterest really are planning. They are planning vacations or new baby nurseries or weddings months, sometimes even years in advance. So I really want you to look at your saves as the way to do a temperature check on whether or not your content you're putting out on the platform is resonating with your audience.
Amazing. I love that. So many light bulbs are popping up for me already. Wow. Okay. And so if there is like one thing that you see people like get wrong, like over and over and over, what would it be?
Great question. So for Pinterest, it's really those keywords. What's going to happen if you're a Shopify store owner with your keywords is you're going to make a Shopify listing and you're going to write a description for that listing and you're going to put it on your website. Then you're going to connect your Pinterest app to Shopify. Your catalog is going to get ingested just like it does into the Google Merchant Center into Pinterest. Those product pins are going to show up on your Pinterest product search feeds, home feeds on your profile, but no one's going to be able to find them if all you put in your description is that it's a 24 karat gold necklace. They're not going to find it because 24 karat gold necklace is going to be extremely difficult to rank for. You're going to get outranked in ads and you're going to get outranked in organic from all the big brands that have already been there a lot longer than you.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I've seen so often that entrepreneurs want to be creative, which is great to be creative, but then some of the fashion collections, some of the products have like very artsy description, like midnight haze or, autumn light or whatever. But that doesn't tell us anything about what the product is. So rather than it's amazing to be creative, but at the same time we want to be descriptive, right? Because that descriptive way is really what your customer would be searching for, right? Is that correct?
Yes. In a lot of cases, I actually have to retrain a lot of creative entrepreneurs, really specifically more of the artsy entrepreneurs. So any of the artists in the audience, if you're selling on Shopify or any other e-commerce platform, photographers, things like that, you really have to retrain the creative part of your brain. I need you to put on your logical thinking hat and think about how someone's actually finding your product on the internet. What are they going to go to Google and search for? That's how I want you to think about it for Pinterest. They're not going to find you by searching for lavender haze. I'm sorry, you're not Taylor Swift. They're going to find you by looking for things like pink polka dot resort wear dress. I know it's boring, but it's how you're going to get found.
Yeah. And in case you're struggling with that description, what it is, then ask your friends or ask any child. I find that whenever we run something by our niece and nephew, and they are like 8 and 10, and we just see them, how they use different platforms, how they interact with the store, how they do a search, then I'm like, like That's how I should be doing that, because I feel like as entrepreneurs and just people in general, we've got the tendency to overcomplicate things, right? And then when you like pull it back, you're like, oh, was it that simple? And I was just trying to like do analysis paralysis here.
It really is that simple. And unfortunately, you're not Coco Chanel where you can sell a perfume that's in a numbered line. So we really can't do that. We have to use the brand authority that we have, which is much smaller. So if you really can hone in on those keywords, you're going to get results on Pinterest a lot faster.
Amazing. Heather, I absolutely love this. Thank you so much for being with us, Heather. This was just like an incredible, a ton of value. So guys, now it's your turn. As we always say, we can lead the horse to water, but we can't make it drink. So Heather has just shared with you an incredible golden nuggets. You've got all of her helps and links below in the video. There are some cheat sheets and assessment to help you out with your Pinterest marketing strategy. So once again, Heather, thank you so much for being here with us today. And guys, now it's up to you to go and get it done, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.